snout on there for whatever flywheel and whatever adapter. So we're going to do.
Coleman, former genius writer at Sport Compact Cars, sold it all to work at Mazda as some kind of engineer.
A genius, no longer.
What have you done to this perfectly good Miata? And don't move because you'll be out of frame. Just point.
I have reduced the weight because that's what we do with Miata.
What is it?
This is a Suzuki Hayabusa engine. It weighs 135 pounds compared to the 300 pounds of the original.
Isn't that a sin against God and engineering?
Not against engineering, no, just against brand loyalty of some sort. But
how much weight did you save?
We're not completely done yet. We think we're going to get the car down to 2,000 pounds. But the old engine was 300 pounds. The new engine is 135 pounds. Ancillaries here and there, we're not sure how exactly it's all going to work out. But it's a lot lighter, and it's 12,000 RPM and at least 170 horsepower, depending on how much you lean on.
Oh my goodness.
This should be fun.
Okay,
this is just a side project.
This is outrageous enough.
Yeah.
That's not the only car you have here, right?
This is not the only car I have here.
What is that?
This is 7 broken Miatas and a Mexican Dodge, all welded together to win races.
And are you winning?
We've won 3 Lemons races so far.
Have you tuned the Starship Enterprise component for aerodynamic properties?
Actually, we have.
Or for flight?
We actually did. We actually did CFD on it, computational fluid.
You
dynamics.
did not.
We did. We have a solid model of it in the computer to show how the airflow goes through this vent here, and figure out exactly what angle to pitch the disc at.
And so it's actually creates downforce.
This is at 2 degrees, so it creates just enough downforce to not fly off the car, but not so much as to cause too much drag.
Wow, you're a genius, man.
When Jackson Racing was doing supercharger kits for the PT Cruiser,
yeah,
Dodge decided they wanted to help them out, and they gave them a couple of Mexican Dodge Stratus turbo engines because they were basically a PT Cruiser engine but with the turbo. And I thought maybe that would help them, and it didn't help them at all, it turns out. So the engine just sort of sat outside the dyno shop, and then he moved to Colorado, sold the shop, and I'm friends with Mark DeBella, who owns the shop now, MD Automotive now, and this was still sitting outside the shop, and finally Mark cleaned up, threw away the engines because they had been sitting in the rain and were completely rusty, but he couldn't throw away the turbo, so he threw it underneath his workbench.
Is that ABS plastic sewer pipe?
It is.
Please go on.
Anyway, so Mark pulls this turbo out that's been sitting in the rain, and the turbine housing is rusted to the turbine wheel. And he's like, hey, can you guys use this? We're like, of course not, this won't fit. And then we decided it would fit.
How did you make it fit?
We took the stock exhaust manifold and figured out that it would bolt on upside down so that the outlet was sticking up where we could reach it, and then we welded a turbo onto the end of it.
How does that affect aerodynamics?
More like, how does it affect driver visibility?
Ah.
That's the big question.
Ah.
In fact, our biggest breakthrough came when we finally redid the adapter for the turbo and lowered it 3 inches so that our short drivers could see over it. Then we started going a lot faster.
Why not just get taller drivers?
That was my plan. It worked fine for me.
Now, where did you get the actual girls? I don't actually believe that.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why we're able to still race 3 years after we started.
I mean, they're like real girls, not like inflatable?
We have our wives and girlfriends doing this with us, or else we'd be done.
Do you engineer that too? Looks like something you made.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Thank you, Dave Coleman.
Oh, I'm sorry.